Hey guys, it's Tristan Animalcaster, and today I have a beginner tip guide that is of course aimed towards new players. Now, if you are a returning or longtime player and you're watching this video, you may still find some of this information useful, but be wary that this is geared towards beginner players, people that are brand new to the game, that don't really have an understanding about, Wizard101, or really don't really know anything about the game. So I hope this video does help, and if it does help you guys, be sure to leave a like, share the video out with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. So I do also, before we start the video, I do have some gameplay in the background here. It is a 4v4 practice match, nothing special, but I thought it would at least be better to have some gameplay in the background than, a black screen or something. That would be very boring to watch a black screen. So let's jump right into this with the first tip for you guys, and that's going to be reviewing the pros and cons of each class of the Ravenwood schools. And these are going to be the classes that you choose in the beginning of the game. Before you even start the game, you have to choose a class for your wizard, either an elemental class or a spirit class. And the spirit classes are life, death, and myth. The elemental classes are fire, ice, and storm, and there is another class in there that's not really in any category. It's balance. It's kind of, a mix of all the other classes combined. So there are 7 classes in total, and it's very important to know these classes before you make a choice, or at least if you make a choice, do some questing, go through some of the beginning areas, see if you like the way the class plays. And you're not really going to know how the class plays until you probably hit, Triton Avenue, maybe even a little further than that, because you're not really going to have any spells that show you how the class plays. You're going to have the basic, 1 pip, 1 cost spells. But definitely get a feel for the classes, and you can look up information on the classes online. You can find good information or good guides explaining, what classes fit what play style, because it really depends on the play style you're going for. If you're trying to go solo, you may want to choose a class with more health, such as life or such as ice. If you're going in a group, you may want to choose a damage dealing class such as storm or fire. But there is no, set category you have to play under. Like, if you want to solo a storm, go ahead and try it. But definitely look up that information. Definitely, try to get a better understanding of the class. It's very important to know. And you don't want to just, choose the class based off the aesthetics or, the description of the class. Definitely know what spells, you don't have to know all the spells, but definitely know kind of what the spells revolve around, and, kind of what the accuracy of the class, the health of the class, the defense of the class, everything. Just kind of get a good understanding of it. So that's the first tip I will give you guys. The second tip is do not buy crowns unless you're buying a permanent mount or henchman. And there's some exceptions to this, like if you want to get a mastery amulet, these are very good, and, I don't want to go too much into detail. I don't want to confuse new players, but, permanent mount is definitely necessary, I would say, for, if you have a membership and you're trying to go further into the world a lot quicker, you may want to put some money, some real life money, towards crowns to buy a permanent mount. But other than that, don't waste your money, don't waste your crowns on, gear for your wizard, low-level gear, wands, athames, pets. You can get a lot of this stuff from farming or dungeons or boss battles, and these crown items, or even better items that aren't crown items, will drop from these bosses and from these battles. So I definitely wouldn't use the crowns for anything unless you're, a permanent mount definitely is not, it's not necessary, but it's very useful. And henchmen are also useful for, if you're further in the game and you're soloing, you can call a henchman in if you're in a tough predicament. So that's the second tip. Don't waste your money on crowns unless you're buying a permanent mount or a henchman. There's some exceptions there, but I'm not going to go too far into detail with this video on what to buy, what not to buy. So that's the second tip. Let's move on to the third, which is don't try to do all the activities at once. And these can include fishing, gardening, monstrology. There's a lot of other choices and options for activities, but if you try to do all these activities at once, you're going to overload yourself. You're going to take out a lot of time that you could be questing, that you could be leveling up and actually, paying attention to the actual point of the game. And you know, I'm not saying don't do the activities. Like if you want to do fishing, go ahead and fish. If you want to do gardening, go ahead and garden. But I would definitely, at lower levels, I would definitely start off with, you know, doing one of these and not doing multiple, you know, activities at once. It may be tempting when you get the quest for the activity to go ahead and get yourself invested into it, but you're going to take away from time that you could be using to quest, to level up, and to do more important things. So between those three I just mentioned, fishing, gardening, and monstrology, I would definitely probably suggest gardening, because gardening can drop you, you know, good gear, good items, good treasure cards, and good gold as well. So that is the third tip. Just don't try to push too much at once, because you will get you know, backtracked, and you will, you know, you'll have too much on your plate, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Jumping to the next tip. The next tip is complete all of the side quests. And there's multiple reasons for this, and you don't have to complete all of them. You know, definitely I would complete most of them. This is probably the most important tip on this list. Side quests are very helpful for not only getting XP and leveling up your wizard even further than the main quest, but to understand the dialogue and the storyline that KingsIsle has created for this game. And you know, it'll make your questing and your just journeying through the spiral experience so much more pleasant, so much more fun and entertaining, knowing the storyline, you know, putting yourself into that story that they have made for this game. I think it's great to follow. I know a lot of people just skip through the dialogue and they're like, let me just get this XP, let me just hurry up and get this. But it's sometimes you just want to take it back a little bit slower, and you want to kind of enjoy the environment, the storyline. Definitely take a look around. Just, you know, look up at the stars in Marleybone, or just go into alleyways that you find. It's always cool exploring the game, but I would highly suggest doing all these side quests. It'll definitely help you, especially for soloing. I would say this is necessary to do the side quests, because if you don't, you're going to get to the next world and you're going to find it much harder to defeat, you know, mobs, NPCs. You're going to find it much harder to really do anything. So definitely complete the side quest. If you can't do all of them, at least try to do most of them, because these are going to be very helpful, and they're going to give you the upper edge when you go into the next world 5 to 10 levels higher. That's going to definitely be, you know, very helpful for you guys. So I have one more tip for you guys. I hope this video has helped so far. And the last tip is, don't be afraid to go to forums and websites for Wizard101 to find out information. Don't be afraid to become a member, and you know, there's no reason to worry of what people think if you ask a question or if you don't have an understanding of something, because at least with me, you know, I'm a longtime player. I love helping out new people, and I think most of the old school longtime players do as well. So one of these websites is called Wizard101central.com. This website will of course contain really everything. It's basically a wiki for Wizard101. It'll contain boss locations, drop rates, dungeon information, class information, spell information. The list goes on and on. So I'll leave the link down below for that website, but I would highly suggest, if you have any questions, if you have any, you know, worries about the game, or if you just don't understand something, definitely go ahead and check out that website. It'll greatly help you guys out. And you know, that's not the only website, there's others. So go ahead and you know, look around the web and see if you find any cool blogs or websites for the game. But the main one is Wizard101central.com, and you know, there's thousands and thousands of guides and, you know, discussions on there. So I hope this video did help you guys. You know, these are just some tips that I feel like can definitely help new players. And I wish I would have had something like this when I first got into the game, because you know, when I first got into the game, which was in like 2008, like right when the game released into beta, there was nothing like this. You know, there weren't even nearly as many options and features as the game has now, but there still wasn't really, you know, a guide to understand any of this stuff. Like, you had to kind of just learn it on your own. But to, you know, there's so many resources now online, you know, there's so many guides and tips and tricks and gameplays. It's really easy to get into the game now and have an understanding when you're actually doing something, instead of, you know, or I mean, before you're actually doing something, instead of, you know, during when you're doing something. It makes it a lot easier to go in prepared. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. Be sure once again to leave a like, share the video out, and also subscribe to the channel. It means a lot, and I'll be sure to bring more awesome content for you guys soon. So Hope you guys have a great day.